You're listening to The Seed to Success, a podcast presented by Testimonial Tree, where we help grow your business through happy clients. Experts and influencers reveal how to shape your business with your customer's voice, one powerful story at a time.
Today we have Gary Vaynerchuk, serial entrepreneur, founder of Vayner Media, author, speaker, and just so much more. He will own the Jets one day, so we're looking forward to that.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. So what are the top 3 traits you believe an entrepreneur must have, and are these something you're born with, or can they be learned?
I think very comfortable in chaos, self-awareness, and I think complete and utter ability to be lonely and not fearful and be comfortable with fear. I think those things are born. I do think that they can be taught a little bit, so I think people can get more of it. But I think it's kind of like I could be a much better basketball player than I am today, but I don't think I can be LeBron. And I think that we overstate people's ability to be entrepreneurs sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good answer, and I think that there is a difference between like the LeBron James and then the mid-level guys who are still crushing it.
Yeah, exactly. But by the way, if you're on the 12th man on an NBA team, you're one of the 400, 300 best basketball players in the world. Let's not get crazy here. I mean, the top 1% income level starts at $400,000. Mm-hmm. Right. If you make $400,000 in America, you are in the 1% of earners in America. That's unbelievable.
Right.
And I don't think we've got that figured out yet.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Like, I would totally be on the practice squad, like, no problem. Like, of course I want to be LeBron, but like you said, hey man, I'd show up for practice every damn day. So
respect.
But I also agree with you. I think that too many people want to reach that LeBron level, and they don't understand that. I also think we're in a time right now where people are like, I'm an entrepreneur, and that's like saying I'm a rapper. Right. Are you a successful entrepreneur? Are you making money? Do you have an actual thing that's working? I mean, everybody's an entrepreneur now, and I think that's a little bit of a problem. What do you suggest people? What would you say? I'm just starting a business, or listen. By the way, who cares what I think? I actually don't care about that. I care about people failing and then going into depression and suicide because they think it's so easy and everybody's actually doing it. I just want to make sure we're having real conversations and people really know it's hard and you're not alone and you're failing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's all great points. So if you had to start from scratch, Gary, knowing what you know now, what business would you start and why?
Really question. You mean right this second?
Yeah, right this second, man. What would you start?
That's a really good question. I would sell a toothpaste directly to consumers.
Toothpaste?
I think that there's a opportunity for everyday goods to be sold direct to consumer through Amazon and direct websites. And consumer packaged goods, cereals, toothpaste, ketchups are a really interesting business. And I think the toothpaste category hasn't been disrupted. So that's my weird answer.
I love it, man. I love it. So let me ask you something. You've set out to build out this personal brand. You've been doing this personal brand for a while, but you have a success. You built out Wine Library. You do Vayner Media. I mean, you're a successful person. Why put that stress and strain on yourself to build out a personal brand when you've achieved a big level of success and you have a lot going for you already in that realm?
Because I'm going to make a lot of money one way or another, but the feeling I get from you saying when we start this interview that I've meant a lot to you and I've had an impact on you is a hell of a lot more interesting to me than another $100,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, you're kind of breaking up just a little bit.
Yeah, am I?
Yeah, and I want to make sure that...
Is it the video or?
Yeah, video maybe. Okay, now it's getting a little bit better. I think when you're moving around, I don't
keep it tight.
I don't want to get you off your game because I know you move around.
Yeah, so I think to re-answer your question, to have it clean, like making an extra $1 million is great, but I'm going to get mine. Having somebody like you, before we start to say you really had an impact on me. I want legacy. Like, money's great, but I want the legacy. I want people showing up to my funeral. I want people to tell their grandchildren about me. I have the vanity and the narcissism around that. I do. That's why I do it. I mean, and it also feels great, and just it's important to me.
Yeah, no, I think that impact and influence and things that can be so much more than money will ever be. So
I'm gonna get mine. Do you know what I mean? I'm talented enough to build it. Don't forget, Gary Vee is my side hustle. I've built a $100 million revenue agency in the last 5 years while I've been doing this. So I'm talented enough.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you about like the hustle a little bit, and let me like preface this question because from the outsider's perspective, and I may go a little bit deep here. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm always comfortable with anything.
All right, wonderful. So from the outsider's perspective, we see you traveling around the world, just killing yourself, and you never see. And I know you've talked about like family. You don't do social with the family, but you don't see the wife, you don't see the kids. And I know you do stuff because you're a big family guy, so I totally respect that. But at the end of the day, for all that you do and always out there and always on the go, like. Is the hustle worth it at the end of the day? Because you said in an interview with Andrew Warner, like, you are the walking contradiction. Like, you say you're the best, but, maybe you're not. And if you were to get hit by a car or a bus...
Sorry about that. I missed you there. If I was to get hit by a car...
Yeah, so you were talking about... You said something about, like, if I were to get hit by a bus tomorrow, maybe the internet would mourn for a little bit, but then it would move on. So, like... At the end of the day, like, knowing that in your head, like, is it still worth it to just continuously put stuff out there all the time?
Yes, because it's what I want to do. And if I'm unhappy, then there's nothing I can do for my kid. If I'm unhappy, then there's nothing I can do for my kids,
Mm-hmm. No, I love that, man. And I want to talk about confidence really quick because I just love your confidence. And that's, when I said you've made an impact on me, that is probably the biggest thing. I was always nervous to get out there, and I probably wouldn't have even had this conversation with you. I would have been too nervous. But now I'm like, dude, you just got to go out there and do it. Yeah. You talk about your mom a lot and how she instilled that in you, but like at some point you have to believe so much in yourself, and you have to have that mental toughness. When did that click for you, and how do you build that mental toughness going forward?
I think my mom instilled the self-esteem that over time, when I found what I was good at, business, it clicked. So somewhere around 13, 14, 15, when I was doing baseball card shows, it clicked. I'm like, I'm great at this. And my mom said I'm a great guy and I'm a good guy. And it just built. It built and built and built and built. I think when you find your zone, your thing, you become confident. I'm not confident on the dance floor, right? I'm not confident in other areas, but I'm uber confident when it comes to business. Mm-hmm. The end.
The end. I love it, man. So if I were to build the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame in Naples, Florida,
yes,
who would be your first 3 inductees and why?
I don't know. I would say maybe Jeff Bezos. I'm a big fan. Walt Disney, Vince McMahon. Maybe those 3. But the truth is, I'm not super into other entrepreneurs. I mean, like, I'm way more passionate about my mom and her parenting style than I'm about any entrepreneur. It's not that I don't look up to them. I actually admire anybody who's willing to take the plunge. And I like the 3 that I mentioned because Bezos just keeps innovating, and the other 2 are great storytellers and built real businesses around those stories. But it's interesting to me how much I don't get off on that or excited about that.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Because there's so many people like the entrepreneurs and all that focus so much on what you put out there and what all those other people put out there. Like, is it better to be the way that you are and not care and just go do? Or
I don't think it's that I'm cooler or I'm better. I think I spend way more time. I care more about my community. Like, dude, you know how many? I'm doing this interview, right? Like.
The ultimate jab right here.
You know what I mean? This 11 minutes, like, nobody thinks is ROI positive, but I appreciate you, and I'd rather spend the 11 minutes giving you this than seeing what Mark Cuban's doing,
Well, I really appreciate that, Gary, and you did give me your time, and I know it's valuable. And funny story really quick, just on the side note, to how I got this interview, I actually asked for 5 minutes of your time for 20 of your books, and they said no. And then they said, yeah, buy 50 books. And I said, I can't do that. So then I networked my way to you. And so big thumbs up to your father-in-law for asking. And dude, I have mad respect. I would, if you're ever down here, I owe you. I owe you a golf game. I owe you a basketball game. Whatever, man. I'm all yours if you come to Naples. Thank you so much, brother.
I wish you well. Take care.
Hey, you too, man. Cheers.
Bye-bye.